One absolutely horrifying part of today's story. It's the part where Angela is under the bed. And believe me, when you get to that part in the story, you'll know what I'm talking about. But before we get into today's story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place, because that's all I do, and I upload 3, 4, even 5 times every week. And so if that's of interest to you, then the next time the like button asks you to go get them a regular iced coffee, I want you to go to Starbucks and order a regular iced coffee, but with light ice. Then hand that sucker over to the fool that is the like button. Also, please subscribe to my channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's story. On January 23rd, 2005, which is actually a day that is remembered by the people of New York as Black Sunday, Curtis Myron, who was a New York City firefighter, was trapped on the 4th floor of an apartment in the Bronx. Blazing inferno. He, along with 5 other firefighters, are trapped on the top floor. There was no way out, and they elected to jump from the 4th floor. And unfortunately, Curtis, along with another firefighter, did not survive the fall. In addition to those 2 lives that were lost, another fire had broken out separately in New York the same day that claimed the life of a 3rd firefighter. This was the largest loss of life for the New York City Fire Department since the September 11th attacks. Curtis's wife, Jeanette, and their 2 daughters, Angela, who was a young teenager, and Deneen, who was a little bit younger than Angela, they were inconsolable. They never thought that their father, their husband, would not come home again. But they were faced with this horrible new reality where Dad wasn't coming home. The Black Sunday tragedy, the loss of those 3 firefighters, had become very high profile, and so news channels and media outlets were showing up at Jeanette's property hoping to get an interview with she or her kids about what had happened, and they were just not interested in that. And so they felt very trapped inside of the house. And the house itself had been built by Curtis. He had literally built the house, and so it was just a constant reminder of the sadness of this loss. And at some point, Jeanette just said to the girls, I think we should move. I think we just need a fresh start. This is too much. It's too much to be here. Let's just move. And the girls were very eager to leave. So Jeanette starts doing some house hunting, and quickly she finds this nice little house on Long Island where they live, but farther away from the city. And it was sitting on an acre of land, which for the price that was being asked for it, it was unheard of. They went to the property, and Jeanette could see that the house needed a ton of work. But all of Kurt's firefighter buddies were very eager to support Jeanette and her kids, and they offered to come by and actually help them do the renovations on the house. And so Jeanette bought the house, and very quickly she and her 2 daughters moved in, and all of Kurt's firefighter buddies showed up and began this massive house renovation. I mean, they were basically tearing it down to the studs and rebuilding the whole house. Because of this massive renovation project, a lot of the doors and windows were not secured, and so at night, Jeanette felt really uncomfortable, so she went out and purchased 7 cameras to fit on the outside of the house to monitor the property, and all of the cameras streamed to her laptop where she could watch them at any time. And so she found herself watching these cameras a lot on her laptop, just kind of reflexively watching what was happening around her property. And so one night, Jeanette's at her house, her kids are upstairs, and she's got her laptop open and she's watching these feeds from the 7 different cameras. And she admitted that it was just kind of fun to watch the cameras. It felt, kind of cool to see what was going on outside, but from the safety of your home. And she was watching one particular feed that was
microphone wasn't
the edge of
working.
her property where there was this big forest.
Theo, hello, how are you? Raja, how are you? Hello. Gifted, hello, hello.
And she was
Rice,
looking
hello,
out
how
at
are
this
you?
big open front
Ashley,
yard of theirs.
hello, hello.
And from the
How are
tree
you?
line, she
How's everybody?
watched a
Sorry, my
figure
mic wasn't
emerge, and
working.
it looked like a man in a cloak, walk up to their
What the heck?
driveway and walk a little ways down the driveway before stopping and staring up at the house. Jeanette was so caught off guard by what she was seeing that she didn't do anything. She just stood there watching this figure. And as soon as the figure had gotten there and was watching the house, it turned back around and walked back into the woods and vanished. It was late. Jeanette didn't know what she'd even seen. The cameras were not super HD, so she thought it must have been an animal or it was just an anomaly of the camera itself. So at the same time that Jeanette is looking at her laptop and she's trying to make sense of this figure
Not
she's
me.
seen,
Hello, how are you?
upstairs, the two girls are in their own bedrooms, which are on other ends of the hallway. Angela was laying on her bed with her back up against the wall and she's reading a book, and she starts hearing tapping along the same wall that her back is against, and she can almost feel it in her back. She puts her book down and sits forward and turns and is listening really intently to where the tapping had been coming from. And then she hears bang, 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 like someone's trying to get her attention. She gets right out of her bed and goes to her door. She opens it up and looks downstairs, because from where her door opened, she could look into the living room on the first floor. And immediately she saw her mom on her laptop. Her mom was not banging on anything. And her sister was in her room and she was down the hall. And so that couldn't have been her sister. So she goes back in her room and she's thinking to herself, I'm hearing things. She puts her ear right up against the wall, and as soon as her ear makes contact with the wall, she said it sounded like someone smashed the wall right on the other side of her ear. It causes her to freak out, and she goes right into her bed and throws the covers over her head.
I hear bang, bang, bang. I'm moving out. Right.
She hides. What Angela didn't know is that down the hall, her younger sister, Deneen, had heard tapping as well, but her tapping sounds were not coming from the wall, they were coming from the door. And she thought her mom had come up.
Yesterday we went to the forest that's around here, and Gifted saw some guy, and then he looked again and he disappeared. Dun, dun, dun. So I don't know what's up with forests, but
Upstairs to see what she was doing. So she got up, walked the door, opened it up, and there was nothing. She did the same thing that Angela did and poked her head down and saw her mom sitting on the couch. She looked down the hall and she saw that Angela's door was closed. It wasn't Angela. So she shuts the door, and as soon as it shuts, she hears 3 distinct taps on the door. She opens it up again, there's no one there. She too runs into her bed and jumps under the covers. The girls would say in interviews that the tapping sounds continued periodically throughout most of the night, but at some point they both managed to fall asleep under the covers. The next morning, the girls...
And nobody else heard these taps or whatever. He was dressed in 50s or 60s clothes. That's crazy, I wish I saw it. He disappeared though.
Girls go downstairs and they're in the kitchen and they tell each other what they had heard the night before. And they both start feeding off of each other because they both had this experience and didn't realize it. Angela would say to Deneen, yeah, I heard these tapping sounds. Deneen is picking up on her fear and she's saying, I heard tapping sounds. And the kids are really wound up. And that's when Jeanette comes into the kitchen and she sees her kids talking about something that seems really intense. And she goes, what's going on? What are you talking about? And they said, Mom, we think something's wrong with the house. We heard tapping sounds last night. This happened to me. This happened to me. And Jeanette just says, guys, it's a brand new house. We aren't used to the sounds the house makes. I'm sure it's just pipes or, creaking floorboards or something. You guys are overthinking it. Don't worry about a thing. The house is fine. Over the following few days, some of the firemen that were helping renovate the house began to work on the basement. The basement was full of clutter. It was like whoever had lived there before had never taken anything out. Very old pieces of machinery and furniture and strange boxes and papers. And the first step to fixing the basement was just going to be emptying it. And so the firemen were removing things from the basement when one of them, his name was Tom, he was one of Kurt's very good friends, Tom discovered that on the ground underneath all the clutter was this large pentagram, which is a 5-pointed star inside of a circle that is almost always associated with satanic worship. Tom gets Jeanette to come downstairs and he shows her what's on the ground and he says, what do you want me to do about this? And Jeanette said, paint over it. I don't want my kids to see this. But what Jeanette didn't know is that the kids had actually been playing outside over the past couple of days out in that forest in their property. And they had found a number of pentagrams carved into trees, into rocks, carved into the dirt on the ground. They were everywhere. They decided not to tell their mom because they didn't want their mom to worry. So they're both siloing information about these pentagrams all over their property. A couple of days later, Angela was going to be home alone for a few hours. And Jeanette had given Angela some chores, which included cleaning out the refrigerator. And so Angela's in the kitchen and she's got the fridge open and she's taking things out and cleaning off each of the different drawers.
Nope, say goodbye to the house kids, right? I'm good, Alan, how are you?
And she can't help but feel like someone is standing behind her. She kept turning around and no one was standing in the kitchen, but she just could not shake this feeling that someone was behind her. And so she's looking at the fridge at one point And she's about to just give up on cleaning the fridge and explain to her mom that she would just do it later, when all of a sudden she hears behind her this loud like explosion. She hears pots and pans and knives and forks clattering all over the ground. And she instantly turns around, and every cabinet, every drawer has come flying open, and all of their contents have come smashing onto the floor. She sprints up to her bedroom screaming and hides in the corner. Shortly thereafter, Jeanette comes home. She goes inside and she sees the kitchen is an absolute mess. It looks like someone had broken in, and she starts screaming for Angela, thinking the worst. Someone's broken in. What happened to my daughter? She's running upstairs screaming for Angela. She finds Angela curled up in the corner of her bedroom. What's going on? What happened in the kitchen? And Angela just could not put it.
I know, right? Burn the house.
An answer together. She was so shocked by what happened. So Jeanette tells her to stay here. She runs around the house, making sure that no one's there. She gets her laptop, goes back to Angela, opens it up, and she checks the footage. No one's in their house. No one's been near their house. All the while, Angela's just sobbing hysterically. And finally, after Jeanette is convinced that there has not been a home invasion, she turns to Angela and she's like, what is going on? Why does the kitchen look like this? And Angela tried to explain what happened, but it just didn't make any sense. And so Jeanette was getting frustrated with Angela and saying, did you do that down in the kitchen? But when Angela didn't change her story and just looked terrified, Jeanette started to see that Angela wasn't lying. This incident really rattled Angela, and Jeanette would comment in different interviews that it was at this point that Angela began to withdraw.
Nice, Alan. Eating some chips. Good snack.
Quite a bit. She was really upset about what had happened in the kitchen, but there wasn't really a good way to handle it, and so Jeanette didn't know what to say to her daughter. Angela didn't know how to talk about it, and so it was just this awful cloud in their life that they had this really intense thing happen, but there's just no explanation for it. A couple of days after the kitchen incident,
there's two Allens in here.
and the crew that had been clearing out the basement got to the point where they were ready to actually start tearing down drywall. And so as they start demoing the walls, they find hidden in the walls a journal. And it's this very old looking journal with some lace wrapped around it. And one of the firemen gives it to Jeanette and just says, hey, I thought you might want to look at this. I don't know what to make of it, but it was in your wall. Jeanette opened it up and she began flipping through it, and she saw a date that was 1927. And she knew that was actually the date that this house was actually built. It seemed like this was a journal written by someone named Christina, who seemed fairly young. And as she's flipping through this journal, it really starts to take a dark turn when she sees diagrams of these ritualistic sacrifices of animals and of people that apparently were taking place in this house, because the diagram clearly indicated that it was happening in the basement. And even weirder is there was this room that they didn't know what it was for in the basement that was underneath the stairs, that it wasn't really a closet. It was all cement on all four sides. It was like someone had put a pocket of cement underneath the stairs, and they always wondered what it was. And some of the diagrams indicated that some of the sacrificing was going on underneath the stairs in that room. Jeanette decides to keep the journal from her kids. She does not want them to know that this was found in the walls. A couple of days later, Angela is in her bedroom listening to music on her headphones, and at some point she thinks she hears someone call her name. She takes her headphones out, she goes to the door, opens up, looks down and says, hey mom, did you call me? And her mom's like, no. She looks down the hall and she can hear that her sister is showering in the bathroom at the end of the hall, so it wasn't her. And so, Angela, she has a healthy fear of this house because of really the kitchen incident more than anything else. But she's thinking, okay, I must have heard something, not a big deal. So she goes back into her room and she sits down in her bed. But before putting her headphones back in, she hears someone say, get Deneen. And it's coming from in the walls. Immediately, she's terrified.
What the heck?
Down the hall, she hears Deneen, who's in the shower, screaming bloody murder. Angela starts running to the bathroom to see what's going on with Deneen, right as Jeanette is flying up the stairs to go see what's going on with Deneen. They open up the door, and Deneen is huddled on the ground, screaming about some person in the bathroom with her. And she kept turning around, and no one was there. Jeanette would say when she saw her daughter, she looked so scared, she thought she was having a seizure. And Jeanette immediately grabs a towel, scoops up her daughter, she grabs Angela, and they leave the bathroom. They go running into Jeanette's room, and they get into Jeanette's bed, and they're all huddled there, and Jeanette's trying to ask Deneen what she saw. And so Deneen finally says that she was in the
Oh, I was wondering what that meant. I've never heard of that before. Tokayo.
shower, and she heard someone saying her name, and it sounded like a male voice. And she's just looking through the frosted glass, and all of a sudden she sees a big hand land on the outside of the shower door. Jeanette felt so helpless. She had lost her husband, her kids have lost their father, and there's all these strange things happening in the house, and Jeanette just felt like she couldn't protect them. It was around this time that Jeanette really felt like she should leave the house. But financially, they were really invested into this house, so it would have been very difficult to leave just financially. And then also, the amount of time and energy all the firefighters, all of Kurt's friends had put into renovating the house and, gutting it and fixing it up. It was so much time and energy that she felt like she would be letting them down if she left. And she couldn't possibly tell them that the reason that she was leaving is because the house is haunted. And so she just felt trapped. A couple of days go by and everybody is just on edge in the house. Angela, Deneen, Jeanette, they don't like being there. And Angela just felt really cooped up when she was home, and she was just scared of being in the house. And so one night she decides to go outside and just swing on their swing, which was on their front property. Jeanette is inside the house doing dishes where there's a window that looks out the front of the house where you can see this swing set. When she finishes doing the dishes, she takes her eye off of Angela for a moment and she walks into the other room to sit down on the couch. She grabs her laptop, she opens it up and figures she can keep an eye on Angela using the security camera that was pointing in that direction. So she opens up the program and she pulls up all the camera feeds, and she's shocked when on the camera feed with Angela, she sees the same cloaked figure she had seen the first time she'd been looking at the live feeds, standing right behind Angela. And immediately she's up and sprinting outside, screaming for Angela. As soon as she gets outside, she hears Angela screaming for her mother before she's even seen her mother. And when she turns the corner, she sees Angela screaming in pain on the ground in front of the swing, and there's no cloaked figure anywhere. She runs over and she can see that Angela's ankle has been badly broken or dislocated, and so she scoops her up and she said, "What happened?" And Angela said that someone pushed me off the swing. And they go to the hospital, and sure enough, she had dislocated and broken her ankle.
What the heck?
When they got home that night, Jeanette opened.
How high was the swing? Yeah, it's a little spider.
Up the laptop and reviewed the footage from outside.
I know, it's crazy.
And she saw this figure walk out of the woods, and the swing was right up against the woods, and it goes right behind Angela and appears to push Angela and then goes back into the woods. Jeanette called the police. She showed them the footage, and they feel really bad, and they can clearly see what happened. But there's no way to identify the figure that came out of the tree line. They just told them to be careful, don't go in your woods, and if you see this figure again in any of your camera feeds, call us right away and we'll come right over and we'll do what we can. So at this point, Jeanette is terrified. She can't protect her kids, and she doesn't leave them really at any point. She's 24/7 in the same room with her kids. They're sleeping in the same room, and the only time she would leave them is during the day for very brief stints. And on one day, a couple of days after the swing incident, Jeanette needed to go to the pharmacy, and so Angela's going to be alone for about an hour and a half. And so her mom leaves, and Angela is in her bedroom, and she's sitting on her bed.
Why didn't she just go with her?
Music. At some point, she thinks she hears banging coming from somewhere in her room. Now, at this point, Angela's been pretty shaken up after living here. She had the incident in the kitchen where everything flew out of the drawers and cupboards. She's been hearing tapping and banging sounds. She has her sister's story about the hand on the glass in the shower. She just got pushed off a swing by some cloaked figure. I mean, she's scared of this place. And so every sound is going to terrify her. And when she started hearing that tapping sound, she took out her headphones. She looks over at her closet and she can see that the doors are rattling. She is so immediately scared that she gets off of the bed and goes underneath and tucks up against the side of the wall.
What would you
she
go
could
under?
actually see the bottom of the closet.
Would go
she
for
can see
chips.
it's still rattling, and she's tucked up against the wall. And as she's looking, the doors slowly slide open, and she sees a figure walk out of her closet that must have been standing there the whole time that she'd been laying on her bed. She said this horrible smell filled the room, and she said that it looked like it had human feet, bare feet. But it was a totally dark figure. It was hard to really pick out if it looked human or not, but it began walking around her room, and she believed it was looking for her, and she heard its footsteps as it walked all over her room.
Jeez.
And at some point it walks into the hall out of her bedroom.
Why are they
and
still
she's
there?
just laying there under her bed hoping that it doesn't come back. And then when she thinks it's walking,
I guess financially, they can't But that's what he said, and the lady feels like they can't really go because his friends like built the house practically. So
all the way
if
downstairs,
she could just
it
explain
goes
to them
quiet.
what's happening.
And then she hears it running up the stairs, running into her bedroom, runs right in front of the bed.
Oh my god.
Its feet are aimed right at her. It climbs onto her bed. She can hear the springs condensing right above her. And she's looking out wide-eyed, holding her mouth. And all of a sudden, its head appears looking down directly at her. And it's this dark face, sunken eyes. It looks like its skin is rotting off of its head. And it's just staring at her upside down, looking directly at her.
I would literally die.
At this point, she screams, and the figure goes back up onto the bed, and now it's sitting right above her. She's screaming uncontrollably, and then she hears it get off the bed, but she doesn't know where it went in the room. And so for the next 45 minutes, she lays there expecting this thing to come back. It knows where she is. It knows she's under the bed, and she can hear it occasionally running around the house. She can just...
I'm pretty sure that these things just do this to scare people.
Smell this horrible smell, and at some point she hears her mom's car outside, and she starts screaming for her mother. Her mother must have heard her because she comes bombing into the house. She runs up the stairs. She's screaming for Angela. Angela's screaming for her mom. And then she finally finds Angela under the bed. She pulls her out. She holds her, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And Angela's saying that he's in the house. He's in the house. He's in the house. I don't know what it is. He came out of my closet. Jeanette runs all through the house looking for anything or anyone in the house. There's nothing. It's gone. At this point, Jeanette is at her wit's end. She doesn't know what to do. So she takes Angela, she gets in the car, they drive to where Deneen is. Deneen was with a friend at the time. They get Deneen, so the three of them are together now, and they drive to Jeanette's parents' house. And while they're there, Jeanette calls a paranormal investigator, and she says, I need your help. I need help to get rid of what's going on in my house. And so she gets in touch with this woman named Liz, who offers to do a cleansing of the house. And after the cleansing was done, Jeanette would say that it appeared that everything stopped in the house.
And somewhat
unbelievably, Jeanette and Angela and Deneen decided to stay in the house where this demon was. That they felt confident that the cleansing had gotten rid of it, and to this day, they still live there. If it was me, I would have been out of that house and never gone back.
I know.
So I'd love to get your reaction to this story. Do you think
so the cleansing worked? What? That like never works.
There was some paranormal entity that was haunting them in the house? Or do you think this is just a product of extreme grief and anxiety as a result of the death of their husband and father? Or is it something else? Let me know what your theory is in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to as many of you as I possibly can. If you enjoyed this video, then the next time the like button asks you to get them a regular iced coffee, go to Starbucks and get an iced coffee, but ask for light ice. And then hand that joke of a drink to the fool that is the like button. Also, please subscribe to my channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of my...
That was a good one. Scary stuff. That is crazy, Rice.
Last year, I stayed for about 2 weeks in a cabin in a very rural part of Pennsylvania. We were up in the mountains. We were very isolated from everybody else. There were these huge windows on the back side of the house that just looked directly into a forest.
Oh, we saw this one. I think. Yeah. I think we haven't seen this one.
There is nothing quite as satisfying as a true story.
He's not wearing a flannel. It's a miracle. Yeah, when it seems like when there's like something evil, it smells really bad. You're skeptical. It's okay to be.
That's mysterious and interesting. It sucked you in. That has a killer plot twist, a killer reveal. That to me is just the most satisfying thing you can find.
Plot twist.
I am a complete story addict, and so I go looking for these stories. I go literally searching for real life stories with real life plot twists. And in my opinion,
you want that one? Next?
Very best one
right now.
is the story of the
It has only
missing
13 minutes,
lighthouse keepers,
after
and that is the story I'm going to tell today. So the too long didn't read version of this story is a crew is sent out to this lighthouse.
Thank you. Representative.
They're being sent out there to relieve the workers that are there, provide new supplies, and just kind of make sure everything is okay. When they get out there, nothing is okay. The 3 lighthouse keepers are missing. The island and the lighthouse are kind of in disarray. And then they find the lighthouse keeper's logbook, which, needless to say, is very strange. It has some entries in it that don't really add up. And then when you combine those entries with what some people had to say on the mainland that were watching the island, it really doesn't add up. So it creates this really epic plot twist. It's absolutely worth watching to the end, I promise. So let's get there. Off the coast of northwestern Scotland lies a stretch of 7 small islands. It's called the Flannan Isles. One of those isles is called Eilean Moor. And on Eilean
It's so
Moor
hot,
is
I'm gonna
a
die.
lighthouse,
Hold
and that's where our story is going to be centered. But before we get into the story, Eilean Moor has some odd history to it. It's long been regarded as a place that's paranormal. In fact, on the island, basically the only people that inhabit it are the lighthouse keepers. Usually there's 3 or 4 of them, and sheep. And so sheep herders often go out to that island, and they're the ones that report hearing strange sounds and just feeling like they're being watched. It's a creepy place. And in fact, anybody that visits the island that isn't a sheep herder or a lighthouse keeper, even if they've never heard of the history of Eilean Moor, oftentimes report a very odd sense of being watched, of just not feeling right on that island. And so Eilean Moor really had developed a reputation as being a pretty creepy place. So in addition to just the strange aura around the island that basically anyone who went there reported, anybody that went to the Church of St. Flannan is its name, they reported feeling like they were being drawn to pray, that there was this overwhelming sense that you should be praying as soon as you walk into the church. And in fact, the draw was so strong, like getting on your knees and praying, that they developed this strange ritual that when you got to the island, it was customary that before you went in, you immediately dropped to your knees and crawled around the church on your knees before making your way inside and continuing to pray.
Oh, really, Alan? I'll
Just
see.
a strange
Maybe
place,
after,
strange
Gifted.
rituals. That's the scene that is set for this true life, very strange mystery. In December of 1900, a steamboat was passing by the Flannan Isles, and as they rounded their way past Eilean Moor, they noticed that the light was out. The lighthouse was not operational. And so when that steamboat finally got to port 3 days later, they told authorities that, hey, Eilean Moor is not operational. You should go check on them. And so as it happened, it was actually time to replace the lighthouse keepers that were at Eilean Moor. So Captain James Harvey gets his crew together, and he takes Joseph Moore, who's the replacement lighthouse keeper, and they head out to Eilean Moor to check on the lighthouse, check on the lighthouse keepers, but also replace them. So it was a changing of the guard and making sure that everything was okay. As you approach Eilean Moor, you would see a massive staircase coming up from the dock all the way up to where the lighthouse is. So from a distance, if you were looking at Eilean Moor, it would be fairly easy to break out anybody that was walking down the steps to get down to the dock. And since
Steps,
the
I would
island
literally
was
die
really
going
only inhabited
there.
by lighthouse keepers and sheep, the crew, Captain Harvey and his crew,
Okay,
as they're
Alan,
making their
thank you.
approach to Eilean Moor, they're watching those steps to see if the lighthouse keepers are going to notice them and come down and greet them on the dock, because that was customary. You always are at the dock ready to assist the crew as they come into Eilean Moor. That was just the way it was done. And so as they're making their approach, they're watching these steps, looking for signs that the keepers are coming down, because on some level, the crew that's going out to replace them, on the back of their head, they're a little bit nervous that something's wrong. I mean, they know that the lighthouse was not operational, and that's part of the reason they're going out. So they're kind of like actively watching those steps. They're looking for signs that they're coming down to the dock. And as they get closer and closer, they don't see anybody come down the steps. They don't see anyone on the dock. And even worse, no preparations were made for the next crew to come into the dock. That was something that all lighthouse keepers did. They kept that dock, up to code so that if any time someone came in, they could properly dock and make their way up. So no preparations are made. No one is coming down to greet them. So the omen is pretty bad. And so Captain Harvey and his crew, they dock on the dock, and the captain and his crew say, hey, to Joseph Moore, you go up and just do a cursory examination of the island. Make sure these guys are okay. We'll stay down here for a minute. You go check. So Joseph Moore gets out and he starts walking up this massive set of stairs where he can't see the lighthouse. He can only see the steps. It's pretty steep. And later he would say that he had this deep sense of just foreboding, like something bad is about to happen. He felt very stressed out as he's walking up these stairs. And as he makes his way up, he finally kind of crests to where he can actually start to break out the top of the island where you can see the lighthouse and you can see, where they were staying. And the first thing he notices is the steel railings that line this massive staircase up to the island near the lighthouse itself. The steel railings had been bent over. Like, imagine if it was made out of tinfoil. They had been folded onto themselves. Like, pretty significant damage to steel railings. And so he makes note of that, and he also notices that this big boulder that just, I don't think it was decorative, it just was on the island, and so they built around it. There's this huge boulder that just was right in front of the lighthouse, and it had been that way for years and years. It had moved significantly, and you could actually see a trail underneath
Jonathan,
the
hello,
boulder
how are you?
where it had rolled across the
I know,
grass.
right?
So Joseph Moore,
What's
the
going
replacement lighthouse keeper, is thinking to himself, my God, this is straight out of the storm of the century. Like, clearly the worst storm ever has hit this island. No wonder their lighthouse was non-operational, because they were hit with like the worst storm ever. And so that's his initial assessment. He goes up to the door. The door is unlocked, but shut, and he opens it up. First thing he does is he yells for the lighthouse keepers that are supposed to be there. They don't call back. There's apparently no one in the lighthouse. Before he even starts moving through the lighthouse, he looks on his right and he sees all the hooks where they would have kept their clothes.
This is a
and
muffin.
one hook still is holding an
There you go.
oilskin jacket. And anytime you would leave the lighthouse, especially if you were leaving the island for some reason, there is no reason in the world you would not be wearing that jacket. So it's another kind of bad sign. It means that if they're not here, if the three lighthouse keepers are not inside of this lighthouse, why aren't all three oilskins gone with them? It's another sign that something terrible has happened. He looks into the kitchen, and on the kitchen table is plates of meat. There is pickles that have just been pulled out of a jar, and a couple of the chairs have been upturned. And he also noticed that the mechanical clocks had stopped. And so he's thinking to himself, okay, something happened where they left in a hurry, because they toppled over chairs, they left food on the table, someone forgot their jacket. He continues moving through the lighthouse and he gets to their bedrooms, and all of their beds are unmade. Again, it was kind of customary that you would never leave the lighthouse unmade. You would make your bed because someone else could be coming in to relieve you. And so it was yet another sign to Joseph Moore that something had happened suddenly that caused the lighthouse keepers to abandon the lighthouse. Combining that with the massive damage from the storm, he's starting to think, something happened, this horrible storm is coming through. Like, maybe it got really bad really quickly and they didn't have time to make proper preparations. They didn't have time to do the things that were customary. They just had to kind of boogie out of there. So Joseph Moore returns to Captain Harvey and says, this is what I saw. And so Captain Harvey and the crew go back up and they kind of see it for themselves. And Captain Harvey ends up sending a telegram back to the mainland explaining that there has been a horrible tragedy here. A dreadful accident has happened at the Flannans. The three keepers, Ducat, Marshall, and the Occasional, have disappeared from the island. The clocks were stopped and other signs indicated that the accident must have happened about a week ago. Poor fellows. They must have been blown over the cliffs or drowned trying to secure a crane or something like that. After Captain Harvey sends this telegram, he and Joseph Moore and the rest of the crew continue to kind of search the island and do some investigating. And they discover the logbook that the three lighthouse keepers had been keeping. And so all of the entries are pretty standard. It was, common practice that you would mark down what happened that day, what ships you saw, just kind of basic log keeping of the lighthouse. But they start getting really interesting on December 12th. On December 12th, the leader of the three lighthouse keepers noted that severe winds, the likes of which he had never seen before, he's been doing this for decades, are passing through the island, and he's acting pretty worried about whether or not the lighthouse will be able to withstand this storm. He also noted that the other two lighthouse keepers were not doing well. He said one of them had been basically just praying nonstop. The other had been doing a bit of crying. Now, the man he's describing that is crying over the intensity of the storm was known on the mainland as one of the toughest, saltiest men like on the planet, who had weathered dozens of hurricanes out on islands all by himself. And so for him to be crying over the severity of the storm just shows you how severe the storm really was. The entries on the 13th and 14th point to them believing that they're not going to get out of this storm alive. At this point, all three of them are just praying nonstop and are kind of anticipating at some point they're just going to get swept off the island. Then on December 15th, it just says, "Storm ended, sea is calm, God is over all." So Robert Moorhead, who is one of the leaders of the investigation, said that basically on December 15th, after that final entry was made, they must have gone down to the dock to secure some of the supplies and just kind of make sure that it wasn't totally damaged from all of the storm, and a rogue wave from this storm must have swept them away. When word got to the Scottish mainland about what had happened to these lighthouse keepers, the people that sat on the coast facing Eilean Moor, they were really confused, because whenever there's a storm out at Eilean Moor, they can see it because the island's not that far off the coast and they can see the storm. But over the past few days, namely December 12th to the 15th, which was the time period those log entries were made about the storm passing through, the people on the mainland of Scotland said that not only was there no storm, but in fact, the visibility onto Eilean Moor was better than it had been in years. They saw parts of the island that were only visible in perfect circumstances, meaning there was never any storm.
Well, if it was really windy, doesn't that make it easier to see Atlantis, right? Hey, how are you?
So what the heck happened to those lighthouse keepers? What were those log entries about? Why were they drawn to tears? How did the railings get flipped over and the boulder get moved aside? Where did they go? In the years following their disappearance, other keepers were sent out to man that lighthouse, and all of them reported hearing someone yelling the names of the three lighthouse keepers that went missing. So pretty creepy stuff, and unfortunately it's still very much an unsolved mystery despite the official statement by Robert Moorhead. And so I'd love to hear in the comments what you think might have happened to the lighthouse keepers and what could possibly explain that there wasn't a storm, but in the journal they said it was the worst storm ever and there's physical damage done to the island. How do we reconcile that? Like either some—
It's crazy. Rice, what? Thank you so much. Thank you. Why? Thank you, thank you. Wait, why is it like, hold on. No, okay. Thank you so much, Rice. You were awesome. Let me know if there's anything you want me to see. Thank you, thank you. The enduring mystery of Jack the Ripper. I'll see if I can do it after. Gifted asked for one before. For more muffins. Thank you, Rice. For you and Chief. Thank you, thank you. You're in Canada? Are there Trader Joe's in Canada? No, right. Thank you so much. You are too kind. This is the one that he wanted. Oops. What did I just do? I'm so confused. Yeah. Oh, okay, right. See, well, they have some really good muffins in Trader Joe's. I'm sure you have some there. Why are we still here? Where? Hi, Long, how are you? Sorry, I'm looking for the... Okay. Why is this link doesn't make sense? I'm so confused. Oh, there it is. Okay. The heck is that?
Some videos are too scary for the internet, others
Oh no. I don't like his voice. I think he didn't see that it was this guy. Okay, for now, he's not here right now, so let me know if you guys want anything else. Casey and the Sunshine Band. I've heard of that before, but I've never like listened to any of their music. Okay, for now, let's do this one. Well, first, well, it was Jack Torrance. Wait. Are these like scary? The glass? Oh, me? This one? Or you mean the video? Oh, in the screen? I didn't see. What is it? What the heck? Disappeared. This is like really weird. It's not, it just doesn't really have much sound. So I guess this guy found these videotapes at a like auction. Some weird like TV in the background of him. Eerie for sure, you're right. Let me know if you want to watch anything, Rice. Sounds like a bunch of bees, right? Imagine he's just like giving a tour of the house. Play some gospel songs on the piano. I know, right? Let's fast forward a little bit, see if anything happens. Please. Okay, this is odd. It's like he's just like recording like the whole house. It's a big place. Vexen, hello, how are you? Not me. What? Thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Let me know if you guys want to see anything. That's the weird face behind your chair. You mean the spider? The beginning? This one? Yay, the emotes. Oh, thank you, Vexen. Thank you, thank you. That's very kind of you. I'm sorry it didn't come out. Thank you, thank you. Let me know if you guys want to see anything. Just like super grainy. Like, I wonder when this was. Okay, see this one.
Just let me know.
Jesus, that's an hour long. Gee, that's an hour long. Sorry, I don't know if I could watch all of that. The first video. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. This one?
You're the one. I'm only one. 'Cause you're the one for me. Every smile makes life worthwhile because you smile for me.
What is going on?
I can tell the world why
I'm very, very confused. Is there any like specific part? Or you mean like just the whole thing? This person has very bad handwriting. He's requesting a movie. 30 minutes? Oops. What's it about? Maybe this? Okay. Something not so long, please.
Every year, hundreds of people go missing inside of
Be careful with the sound. Or is it like copyrighted?
national parks and
Let me know, you guys, if there's anything else you want.
forests all over North America. Of those hundreds, there's always a few that baffle investigators because either they go missing under very strange circumstances.
I mean, it could be more than 10 minutes, but not too long. Not an hour long. Please. Not much, Bexon. What about you? Speaking of forests, we went to one yesterday, which is pretty cool. We saw a donkey, or a few donkeys, and some deer. So that was really cool. An hour is pushing it. Scary video watching AOC. You mean that lady? The Titanic. That's funny.
Circumstances like they were right in front of someone, they were talking to someone, and then, in a second they're gone. Or where they're discovered doesn't make any sense, that they've covered a distance that is too far for them to have covered, or they're in locations that are just physically impossible to get to. One man is making it his mission to research these very strange disappearances. His name is David Politis. He's a former police detective. He covers all of these cases in his book series called Missing 411. I went out and bought all of them. They're incredible. He has a YouTube channel called the Can-Am Missing Project. That's linked below in the description. And so today I'm going to share three missing person cases that have all been covered by David Politis in Missing 411.
Oh, really, Vexen? That's cool. What are you working? Nice.
411. And hopefully by the end of this video, you're just as interested in the missing 411 phenomenon that David Politis has brought to light. And hopefully you'll go over to his channel, the Can-Am Missing Project, and you'll give them a follow because he has poured tens of thousands of hours into this. Without David Politis, there would be no Missing 411 project, and many people that go missing would just be forgotten about. So shout out to David Politis for keeping their memories alive and keeping the public engaged in something that is truly baffling and needs more attention. But before we get into today's stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right channel because that's all I do, and I upload 3, 4, even 5 times every week.
Oh, really, Vexen? That's cool. Pretty cool. How do you... So you're liking it so far? Training sucks, but I'm glad you're done with it, yeah.
If that's of interest to you, then please sneak into the like button's house and replace all of their salt shakers with sugar. Also, please subscribe to my channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's stories. So just a couple of weeks ago, early on July 24th, 2020, an 18-year-old woman named Gia Fuda, who was living with her parents in Seattle, Washington, wakes up in their home, goes downstairs, says good morning to her.
So these things are still going on. The heck? You get to see how badly hospitals charge for something that's actually so cheap. I don't mind it. Kind of wish it paid more. Oh, I see. Yeah, it sucks. Like, the things that are so simple are $1 million. Like, an ambulance ride to the corner is $1,000. But yeah, you can always ask to be paid more. Usually they'll do it. The people usually don't ask. But
her mother and to her father. She has a sip of a seltzer water, and then she heads out to her car and says, okay, I'll see you tonight, and she drives off. Gia's mother said that because of the quarantine, all of Gia's college classes had been moved online, and Gia didn't like doing all of her work in the house. She felt trapped. And so her routine consisted of getting up early and heading to Bellevue College, which is just outside of Seattle, where she could do some work in the library, do her online courses there, and then come back sometime in the evening. And so Gia's parents assumed that's what she was doing that day. But when Gia left that morning, she did not follow her typical COVID-19 routine of going to Bellevue College to do schoolwork. Instead, she hopped on the highway and she drove 60 miles to a very rural part of Washington State. It's very heavily forested. It's called Index, Washington. And she gets picked up on a camera inside of a coffee shop where she gets a cup of coffee and she buys a Bigfoot keychain and then gets back in her car and drives another 30 miles away from Seattle, away from her parents' home. It's unclear where she's going until her car runs out of gas. And when she ran out of gas, it was like she wasn't prepared for it because she was only able to turn her car and barely pull off of Highway 2. It didn't look like she'd intentionally parked. And it's actually how investigators spotted it because it was jutting out into the road slightly. She gets out, and instead of walking on the highway to try to get help or trying to flag down another motorist, she grabs her cell phone, her Bible, and a journal and turns and starts walking directly uphill. There's like this mountain right next to the highway, and it's very densely forested. And she just starts walking straight up this mountain. It's important to note that David Paulides just recently came out with a video about this case on his Can-Am Missing Project channel. And he says that the area she stopped in is an area where at least a dozen other people have gone missing under baffling circumstances that have all been covered in the Missing 411 phenomenon. By 11:30 that night, Gia's parents were starting to get very concerned that they hadn't heard from their daughter and that she hadn't come home yet. They started texting her and calling her. No answer, no response.
Jeez, Vexen, that's crazy. Haunted house panel drop. Alrighty. I'll see that one after this.
By 1 a.m., they called the police. So this huge search is launched to go find Gia. Hundreds of volunteers. They have all these professional search and rescue people out there. They have helicopters overhead. And almost immediately, within a few hours of the search being launched, they find her car on Highway 2. But no sign of her anywhere. The area that she was in was actually a dead zone for cell phone service, so they couldn't get in touch with her, in part because they had no service. And authorities weren't able to track her phone because there was no cell phone reception. So they didn't have much to work with, except that they generally knew where she might be, which is in this very thick section of the Cascade Mountains. And so for days and days, they're searching and turning up nothing. And unfortunately, as time ticks on, the likelihood of her being found alive is next to zero. But 7 days into this huge search where nothing has been turned up, they have this huge find. A couple of the searchers that were miles away from where she had gone missing. I mean, at this point, you're 7 days into the search. You have searchers combing miles and miles of territory, and there's nothing. They've found nothing. And these searchers are up near this scenic creek, where there's a little bit of a clearing, there's this creek, and they find in one area her jacket, her shoes, her phone, her journal, and her Bible, all in one area. It looked like she had just suddenly stripped everything she had, put it on the ground, but she was nowhere to be found. So while this find is certainly great progress towards discovering what happened, it unfortunately sent a message.
Your eyebrow piercing scares you. No. Can you see it? Like when you're like looking. That is crazy
to her parents that at this point you need to brace for the worst, because now your daughter is not only missing and has been for a week, she doesn't have any gear. She has no clothes, she has no phone, she's just gone and has nothing.
Why do they take off?
The omen was very bad at this point. But her family and the searchers were not willing to give up, so they continued to search this new area where all of her stuff had been found for another 2 days. And on the 9th day from when she had gone missing, they found her. And she was alive. She was sitting on a rock near this creek. When they approached her, she was very startled to see people coming near her. She clearly was not expecting to be found. She was also more or less incoherent. She believed she had only been out for maybe 3 days and just had gotten lost. but they told her she had been gone for 9 days. But she was unhurt. She had a couple scratches on her. She was definitely emaciated, but she had been drinking from the stream and eating huckleberries, so she was, taking care of herself, but she was totally confused. She didn't know why she was there. And when she was pressed a little bit further, she didn't know why she drove where she drove. She doesn't know why she walked up a very steep mountain into the Cascades. She also has no idea what happened over the first 6-7 days. She only recalled the last couple and
Wait, didn't that happen to that guy too?
thought that's the whole time she had been out there.
But
so
they
it's a very
found her.
confusing story, and one
On the
that
other-
probably
on the other.
we will never get a clear answer to. This will just become another one of the thousands of very odd disappearances that occur all over North America. Except at least in this case, she was found alive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Tom Mezek was this salty
Thank you, Zach. How are you?
Army veteran. He had served in the 82nd Airborne Division, which is
Just
an
do
elite
it.
paratrooper division. He taught survival training
Flash of
classes,
plan.
but more than anything, he loved to hunt. And he actually hunted in this one particular area
Not normally, but I catch it in the corner of my eye and then my heart. I always wanted like piercings, but yeah. Do you have any other ones?
in New York all the time with the same group of friends. In fact, for like 55 years, Tom and his 6
Jeez.
hunter friends would hunt this one area. On November 15th, 2015, Tom and his hunting buddies decide to go hunt in this area. And they got a bit of a late start. They didn't get out there till about noon. So they decided, in order to make up for lost time, to use this technique that's referred to as a deer drive, where you have stationary watchers that set up on a line about 100 meters apart from one another, and you have a group of drivers that kind of corral any deer or any animals in the area and push them so that they go past the watchers who can take a shot at those animals. And so Tom, along with 3 other hunters, were made watchers, and they set up.
Yeah, Mr. Bell's really cool. Do you know your brain sees your nose all the time, but it just ignores it, except now that I mentioned it and now you looked at it. That's true.
Along this hillside
me
where
with the
Tom was
hearts.
all the way on the left flank, which meant on his left were no hunters. He did have a hunter 100 meters to his right, and then there was 2 other hunters all the way up the hill on the right as well, but he was on the outer flank of that line. And the 3 other hunters that were going to be doing the driving were to his right as well. Behind this hill, they were going to try to push the deer up and over this hill down to this line of watchers. After 3 hours and no luck, they haven't seen one deer, they start to also comment on the fact that there doesn't seem to be any wildlife at all. No squirrels, no birds, no anything. There's just silence, which is very odd for this area. And when you consider that this group has hunted this area for 55 years, they have a really good understanding of what normal looks like. And before anything happened with Tom, they were already talking about how strange that was. Also, one of the watchers who was right next to where Tom was, about 100 meters away, he recalled hearing a very distinct sound, like a whooshing sound or a snapping sound, coming generally from where Tom was. But he didn't think much of it at the time. That is, until they got back to their cars after calling off the hunt because they had been unsuccessful, and everyone's there except for Tom. And they go back out, they're yelling for Tom, they're wondering, did he fall down? They're like, okay, let's radio him, because everybody had radios. There's no answer from Tom. They're searching the area where he was. They start shooting their rifles into the air. They can't find
think
him.
we
And they
saw
think, okay,
he
well,
did
we
one
don't know what he's doing,
of
but this
the
guy
buses.
is super competent. He was healthy. Let's just go to the cars and wait for him. And so they're sitting at the parking lot, which is not very far from where they were hunting. And this is an area they always parked in, and this is an area they always hunted in. So they knew that Tom knows where they're going to be. And so they sat there waiting, and he's just not showing up. So eventually, the hunters call it in to the rangers that he's gone missing. A massive search is launched for Tom. I mean, they are combing this area. They got helicopters, professional search teams. They're looking in lakes. They're looking under logs. They're looking everywhere. And there's not a shred of evidence of Tom. They can't find his walkie-talkie. They can't find his gun. There's no clothes. There's nothing. He's just disappeared. On the 4th day of the search, the FBI shows up, and they get involved in the search, which didn't make any
Oh, nice, Rice. Now you can't unsee your nose.
sense, because why is the FBI getting involved 4 days into a search for an elderly hunter where there's
What?
no
The
sign of foul
FBI?
play? Why are they getting involved? It didn't really add up. And all they would tell Tom's wife is that they believed that something was off about this case, and that's why they were there. But they couldn't elaborate unless more information came in. But nothing ever shows up. Even though Tom was a bit older, he literally taught survival classes. He was the guy teaching other people how to survive in the woods. He also has been hunting in that particular area for 55 years. How is it that he in no way was able to signal that something was wrong, and that all these people, including the FBI, can't find any trace of him? It just seems like something is off. I gotta agree with the FBI on this one.
They didn't find him?
In 2013, 51-year-old Dale Stelling decided to take a trip from Texas, where he lived with his wife and his parents, up to Colorado. He was an avid outdoorsman, and he had always wanted to go hiking and camping in Colorado. So he, his wife, and his parents load up the RV and they start making their way up to Colorado. On June 9th, as they're making their way to Colorado, their RV breaks down in New Mexico. Even though they were eager to get to Colorado, Dale saw that where they had broken down was near the Mesa Verde National Park. And he thought, well, we weren't planning this, but let's just stay here for a night and go check out the park tomorrow.
But it broke down.
Then we'll get the RV fixed and we'll be on our way to Colorado. And so they all agree, they stay the night, and the next morning they head over to Mesa Verde National Park. It was a very hot day that day, and Dale's wife was overweight and not very healthy, and his parents were very elderly. So when they got to the park, they ended up just sitting at the visitor center, and no one really wanted to actually go walk around. But Dale was an avid hiker, and he didn't like the idea of just sitting around all day. And so at some point, Dale just says, hey, I'm gonna go stretch my legs and walk this trail here down to the abandoned city ruins. There was this city that had been built into the cliff that lots of tourists would go check out. And so his wife and his parents, they don't bat an eye. They say, okay, we'll see you in a little bit. And Dale was off. Dale made it seem like it was going to be a very quick trip. And so when he didn't return in 2 hours, his family decided to tell rangers and say, hey, you know, our husband, our son, he went hiking down that trail there towards the ruins, and we haven't heard from him. We can't get in touch with him on the phone. You know, can you guys go look for him? The rangers actually were not concerned at all. They said that we've never had anybody go missing for more than a few hours here. It's pretty hard to get lost. You know, there's lots of tourists here, well-marked trails. Just give it a couple more hours, and if he doesn't show up, then we'll go out and look for him. But after about an hour, and they still hadn't seen him, his family really pressed the issue with the rangers, and they would go looking for Dale. And of course, they can't find him, but they found a number of tourists that had seen him on the trail that he said he was going to be on. They had even talked to him. He was a very energetic, charismatic guy, and they would say that he seemed like he was just another tourist enjoying his time at the park. There's nothing odd about his behavior at all. And he was walking towards the area where he had told his family he was going. While that information was certainly useful, they still couldn't find Dale. And they were really fighting against the elements on this one. You know, the temperatures were over 100 degrees Fahrenheit and had been all day, and Dale didn't have any water. So they really had a limited amount of time to find him. So within 24 hours, there's this huge search that's launched for Dale. And interestingly,
right, Jonathan? I think so.
in the
too.
first 24 hours of the search, a woman was at the park and was walking along the trail that Dale was on. And she remembers hearing a weak male voice yelling for help. And so she kind of looked over the edge. She couldn't see down below her. She was on a bit of a cliff. Fearing that if she went to look, she might fall and become a victim, she went back to the rangers and said, hey, here's the area I was in. I heard someone yelling for help. You should go check it out. And the rangers said that actually we've been getting that report. We got that report yesterday. But when we went to look in that area, we can't find anything. There's no one over there. So while it seems
he will go look again.
very likely that that person calling for help was most likely Dale, we don't know for sure because they were never able to locate who was asking for help. And to this day, we have no idea where Dale is. There's been no shred of evidence to indicate where he went. He just vanished. If you enjoyed today's story, if you haven't already, please...
How about you go look? These rangers are like the most lazy people on the planet.
Please sneak into the like button's house and replace...
Oh my god. Ay, ay, ay. What if he was like under the rock somehow? I don't know. That sucks. I don't know. I think these things are like maybe they go into like some other dimension or it's like aliens, but why would aliens do that? I don't know. I know, right? Not me. Okay, what was that video? Hold on. Haunted house panel drop. Oops.
Eric, you're supposed to
Is it this one?
protect me. Oh god, something's gonna happen. Just go.
Do you guys like haunted houses? Fake ones. Jesus.
I just wet myself.
Go that way, then, Kenny. We'll meet in the front. Let's go. Fine. No problem, someone hold my arm.
I don't like this.
It's almost done, honey.
I promise, nothing's gonna happen, guys.
Or Isaac, this is
Fuck off.
great. Right here.
That girl fell. Ow. Oh no, she didn't. I thought she did. I wonder why, like, some people get really scared when you know it's fake. I don't know. I would love to work at one, right? That'd be really cool.
I gotta get out of here! Oh no. I'm not going in there! Where's the bathroom?
Yeah, somebody. I couldn't believe that. I fell for that. I told you those.
in the shit.
Right now.
They all came out at once.
Oh my
That was pretty good.
Jesus.
No one's gonna come.
I like how the poor kids in the front.
Wanted your ears and eyeballs. They were
He didn't even get scared. Well, that's true, like the jump scare, but even after being like startled, they're still scared, if that makes sense. I don't know. And people working the haunted house must be hoarse from yelling so much, right?
Oh god.
Can you go in front of me?
No.
What?
He doesn't want to go in front.
What?
They do dances, really? Oh, you mean like when they get?
Give me some
He's wearing a scarier mask.
This is pretty good.
That's pretty good, man.
It's, oh, this is light.
Oh shit. This is not creepy. Like, I'm so dead.
I don't feel safe. Can I go?
It's like, it doesn't feel- She just ran over her kid.
I knew those were gonna do something. Hate that. Go to
This is awesome.
I hate the lag.
Very, very good.
Oh my god.
That was good.
I don't know if he was pretending or what.
That was good.
They're crying inside. Alrighty, let's see what Gifted has. Or you guys want to finish this one? Flash your city.
Why are you telling people that?
It'd be really cool to do a haunted house. I want to do it one day. Alrighty. Oops, that's not it. She died. Why does it do this? What is going on? I could watch these all day. They're really good. Just a lot of screaming though. That's why I use Google. It usually doesn't really do that though.
This is my vision. I take
Oh, okay, I just saw what it was. Follow refrain. What was it? It was, what channel was it? Like, I don't know. Who, this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Poor guy. He didn't even care. I can't tell if he doesn't care or if he's like confused or what. Oh my god, he almost like got ran over. That would have been so bad. How could you do that to a stranger? She's gonna be pissed. Alright. What happened to her book? She went to get it. movie. Killing Floor? What's that? Jalal pranks? Okay. Musafer, how are you? I thought she was gonna fall. It's like a scary movie type of stuff. Why would you curl up in a ball? He ran away. This can't be real. This can't be. Last time she helped someone on the ground, right? She would have been dead. I know, right? Sorry. You know what the heck? Oh my god. This lady's like, what the heck? She was not scared. Never mind. What were they looking at? Poor lady. There's no way this is real.
Hey, hey, hey!
Oh, is this on Halloween? Somebody left their backpack there.
Halloween.
You alright?
Halloween.
Yeah.
You okay?
Oh, you bloody fucking Bob!
Sorry.
Piss off! This shit out of me!
Sorry. Sorry.
That's funny. Free candy, right? Bad guy. I don't know if you could do that to strangers. So I don't know if it's fake or what, but or if maybe he was pranking like his mom or something. That was a good one. Wait, what was the other one? Okay, Jalal pranks and then Fred special television. Okay. For some reason, I read this as Spider-Man. I don't know why. Do a scary one.
Run.
They just drop all their food. That sucks. Johnny, hello. How are you?
Run.
You gotta be careful where you do these though, because someone's gonna get shot. Right? Don't do this in like the south of the US. There's no way this is real. Why would you? Why?
Run.
I think these are fake. So entertaining though.
Run.
Who falls that many times?
Let's go! Back up! Back up! I need help! 30 seconds!
Run.
These are terrible actors.
Run.
What the heck? Like, that's gonna slow you down a lot. That's pretty funny though.
Run.
Yeah. He has a little one with him.
Run.
Jeez. Slender baby.
Run. Run.
You just hit the yellow one in the face. Ay, ay.
Run.
Nobody's gonna carry their girlfriend. Ay.
Run.
Why would you do that? Is he trying to disguise himself?
Run. Run.
Oh my god! They ran that person over. Jesus. These people fall more than I've ever seen anybody fall. Classic public transportation. I know, right, Long? Alright. Next one was this one. Bushman prank?
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching Friends vs. Television. Today I'm collaborating with
The Daily Prankster. We appreciate all your views and support. Keep watching.
Perfect. Right here.
Oh my god. I didn't know. I was like, wait, what?
That was talented there.
Oh my god. The break. Where is this?
There's a difference. Gator Mountain.
You wanna go in there, babe?
Spider-Man.
Right along. I've seen scarier things going to concerts in Chicago. What have you seen, Vixen?
Jelly bean.
I knew he was there. Oh my god.
I like how he's just sitting normally.
Bless your heart, I know you're hot.
Is she gonna scare someone? Oh shoot. How did I not? I know, I saw him.
That's not fair for him because he's second. Well, I guess the people are good.
Captain America.
Really, Evers?
He's scared. Chicken.
Can I step on him?
Mary, you want to squeeze it? Come here, buddy.
It's okay.
You want to squeeze it?
I saw him.
Jesus, kid. You don't have to cry so much. Bryce is like, poor kid. I'm like, don't cry.
I'm sorry.
He didn't look like he was gonna cry, but he did. He's he was trying to be nice to him. That kid's too dramatic. I think so too. That's funny. Drug dealing, mugging, some alleys you would not want to be caught walking past. That's true. Where do you live, Vexen? Okay, stuff. Where's the water coming from?
Felt like someone was on me for 10 seconds.
Imagine the kid getting scared again on the other side. That would be fun. Can you react to Death Trap 1986? Is it like a scary video?
Come here, we want a picture. I was like, I don't know who I'm scaring. Yeah. Oh, see, you would have got her.
Oh no. How did she get scared again?
Oh shit.
Get you up. Hello.
That looks like it's gonna break. Jeez.
You almost caught it. Almost. Well, I was ready for it too, though.
Poor
shopping? Got him.
Oh shit!
That's awesome. You alright?
Sorry. Wait. Oh, okay. I live in Wisconsin, but most fans don't come here, so I have to go to Chicago. Oh, really? That sucks. Is it far for you? Like, how long do you have to drive? That's some dedication, Vixen. Right, Everest? I don't know, she got scared still. It's about bugs? No, why? Why is he...
So, it's my turn, guys.
He's gonna break the thing.
Oh, they got him with his ice cream too.
I know. He would have dropped it.
Okay. Ice cream.
Oh no!
Not cool, dude. Not cool. Let me buy your ice cream. No, don't worry. You sure? You sure? Oops.
That guy doesn't have any sense of humor.
Oops.
Not the ice cream, I know, right? 5-hour drive, Jesus, Vexen is crazy. That is crazy. Is there snow? In winter, yes. Gosh, that's crazy. I don't know about that for... Well, it depends what concert it is. I would go. She has a bug hanging around. It's fake. Okay, another gifted one after this one.
You're thinking about fucking hauling ass and going to Clark now because it scared the fuck out of me, dude.
Really? Put the video, let me know.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
And then she found out I had meat too, so she gets...
Yes.
Hold on, Jack!
Why? Why does he do that? She stepped on his chicken.
What is that? Grab that, grab it, grab it. Oh my god! Oh my gosh! All right, I'm too drink.
She wanted the thing.
Fair.
That's one of four.
He's like, no. Oh my god. Okay.
He just walked away. She didn't cry. See, like the kid was.
Look at me, shake. I'm sorry, I scared you. Have a good day. Like,
That's a good one. The tree's getting water. It's water from the source. I know, right? True Evers. I mean, kids are kids, and I think if you as the parent react, you know, like, oh my gosh, then it makes the kid feel worse. Righty. Why? Go to Google. Googler. Oh, but this is that's good. Okay. Is it this one?
Hey, never mind.
Oh my god. What the heck?
Just the first.
Okay. Gifted said only a little bit. What the heck? Why are they always like carrying some random thing? What would you
Prank Cat and
pick
dye her
your
hair pink?
apples?
Alright, so we just got done replacing Cat's shampoo bottle with pink hair dye, and next time she showers...
Oh, so they clickbaited us. They lied to us. Alrighty. How dare they? Why are they wearing pink lips? I mean, they can do whatever they want, right? Is it this one? Oh, it's...
Can I get a trim? Yes. Yeah, I just need a
trim. Is this yours?
little off the top. Yeah, it's gotten a little bit out of control.
Wow, it's a lot. Jeez.
Yeah, last time it took 3 hours.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you so much for stopping by. Have a good night. Thank you, thank you. Right? That'd be super scary at first. Invisible cameraman. Right? That's true. Oh, that's cool. Tutors.
Wow.
My life as a bush.
I never felt comfortable in my own body. Like the real me isn't what everyone perceives. Specifically, the human body. It feels embarrassing to even have arms and legs and a head. Being called a human just didn't fit. I much prefer the company of trees. I never liked eating fruits and vegetables. Vegans make me sick. I didn't like school. I was bullied a lot. I didn't have any friends. I would spend hours outside so I could be closer to nature.
Oh no, the dog.
Hi, everybody. Whoa, hey, come on, guy.
I'm a bush.
Don't like bushes, guy.
He doesn't like bushes. What?
I'm sorry.
Jeb Bush. George Bush.
Get away from us! Get away! Freaking away! Get away!
But I'm a bush.
Is this real, tutor? Because these people are freaking mean.
I heard
That's
It's
California.
really hard being a bush. Just walking around, the cops come up to you and talk to you.
What? Really? It's a mockumentary, but the cops really Were they really called?
You and harass you. They just won't let me be my true self. It's really painful. But that's the life of a bush, I guess. I'm just gonna take it one step at a time. Reach out. I can't help it if people are afraid of me. I just gotta be me. I say hi and women scream. I say hi and men jump. There's really nothing I can do. I just want to be loved. I just want to be accepted like everybody else.
How did I not see you?
How you doing today?
Oh my
You guys want to be my friend?
Whoa! Gilly in the mess.
I'm a bush.
A Fortnite bush?
Yep.
A Fortnite bush?
I'm a bush.
What camera are you using? It's really good.
I identify as a bush. I need an iced coffee.
Identify as a bush.
Let's see.
I want room for twigs.
Oh, it's a GoPro? Oh, that's really good.
I identify as a bush, thank you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, baby. Nice stems. Ah, you're gorgeous. Hey, yeah, you single? What's your sign? You come here often? Yeah, what's your number? Call me. You got Instagram, right? Yeah, okay, cool.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Professional push.
Hi, do you guys accept bushes as members?
Depends on what's growing on.
I keep myself pretty clean. I got a little bit of doggy do, but I got most of it off.
Yeah, sorry, we don't accept foliage.
Yeah.
Does that count?
Foliage. Cannibal.
Flora. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Flora.
Draco from Harry Potter. That's an
guys that
insult.
accept Flora?
Draco.
Oh. Okay, thanks anyway. Hi.
Oh my god, you're ridiculous.
She was really nice about it. Right?
You guys have job openings for a bush? You're not hiring? Okay. They locked the door on me. They locked the door on me. Discrimination, man. It's everywhere. Oh. She's totally ignoring me. Hi. I need a bikini wax. My bush is a little hairy. You guys do that? Do you guys do
I like how everybody turned around.
bikini waxes for bushes?
I recognize you.
No.
It's racist towards Bush.
I'm a bush.
I recognize you.
Oh, really?
Identify as a bush.
How are you?
I'm good. Do you guys do bikini waxes for bushes?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. I got a little bit of back hair too. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right.
That guy looks very confused.
Hold on, pit stop.
Do you guys have any prescription strength Nair hair removal?
I don't think so.
No.
Where is this? What part of California? They let you like go in like that. Oh,
Tomato
San
soup.
Luis Obispo.
I knew him.
Nice.
I knew him.
Must be nice living there.
People won't like you. That's just a reality of life, and that's fine.
Must be really hot in that.
They make fun of what they don't understand.
Bushkin
Call me
donut.
crazy. Say I am a bad bush. People bully because they are jealous.
Really, Everest? Where do you live?
Or have their own issues projected on you. Identity. It doesn't really matter whether you are human, male, female, straight, gay, or even an asexual bush. Just be the best bush you can be. Be generous, bear fruit for friends, provide shade, or let that dog pee on you. I need the nutrients anyway. It's all good. Just be the best bush you can be.
That's pretty good. Is this... Oh, it's extra clips. What do they say?
Yeah, hi, how are you?
Doing good.
It's me, man. Badass Tutors Rob.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
We're doing our, annual Halloween thing, so. How you been, man?
Doing good, my friend.
Yeah, he knows me too well.
I knew he would.
Oh, you know him?
But I haven't met you yet.
I'm Rob.
Officer Pippin. Nice
I can
to
take
meet
my head
Right? It'd be pretty hot.
off, but it'd be funny if we just did it this way, because
yeah,
we're
there you
filming for the documentary. How you doing, man? Do you want to be my friend? Can I have a hug? Thank you. How you doing, man?
Oh, shit.
You can see me, can't you? How you doing? Can you see me? You couldn't see me.
You couldn't see.
Hey, man. He was looking around. Oh, whoa. I got you guys anyway. I didn't have to move. Shit. Hey, guys.
What school is this? Cal Poly?
You want to be my friend?
Yes.
Hey, what's up? You scared the shit out of me? Not even gonna lie.
That was a good one. Subscribe to you. Thanks for sharing, Tutor. It's 9:52 a.m. Bangladesh. Oh, nice. That's cool. It's 12 for you, Daniel? Or what's 52 a.m.? John Cena, because they couldn't see him. Right. I think I'm gonna do one more and that'll be it for today. Maybe like a shorter one. They're pretty long.
Normally, if you're
I do want to stream on Twitch, but like I don't know why. It's just I don't know. It seems like a lot of people don't use it that much. Oh really, Everest? Well, thank you for being here. That's cool. Thanks for watching. No, thank you for sharing, tutors. Oh, that's 12:52. Okay. I'm meaning to get some content out, hopefully. Oh, really, Vexen? That's cool. What are you gonna be doing? Oh, you do? Nice, Everest. What do you play? Or what do you stream?
trying to solve a mystery, if you can gather more information and gather more evidence, it will make it easier for you to solve that mystery. But in today's story, that's not the case. You have a whole family that suddenly goes missing under very suspicious circumstances, and 10 years later, we still have no clue what happened to them, despite a plethora of information and evidence gathered, including a very famous videotape that shows them walking in a trance-like state right before they go missing. But before we get into that family story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place, because that's all I do, and I upload 3, 4, even 5 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please replace the like button's shampoo with Nair hair remover, and also subscribe to my channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of those weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's story. In 2009, the Jameson family, which was Bobby, who was 44, Sherilyn, who was 40, and their daughter Madison, who was 6 years old, were living in Eufaula, Oklahoma, on lakefront property. While they seemed to be living a simple and happy life.
Okay, I could do a video. Helium 7 minutes. I do co-working, mobile gaming, even sleeping. Really? That's crazy. That's cool, Everest. Just chatting too. So you want me to do it right now? I can do it now if you want. Helium 7 minutes.
Behind the scenes, their life was in turmoil. Bobby suffered from bad chronic back pain.
This is 12 minutes. Do it. Helium 7 minutes. Alrighty.
Beatbox International.
Beatbox International.
International.
Beatbox International.
Beatbox International.
This is big shout out for Beatbox International, okay.
Is his name Healy? It looks like he's not.
DJ Олег, клуб Вялый Карандаш. Switch. Beat.
I thought that was part of it. This guy's really scary. Not the feeling, I don't know. That is really good What? Thank you so much, tutors, for the $10. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for helping my channel by watching the Bush documentary. Oh, thank you for sharing. It's really cool. You should get more. Hopefully soon you'll get more subs and views. It's funny and entertaining. So thank you. Thank you so much for the $10. Thank you, thank you.
What the fuck?
Can I start? Hello.
He's actually really good. He should be in like all of a sudden he goes like super fast. Jeez. Does he cover his ear to like maybe hear himself better? That was really, really good. He should definitely be in the competition. Has he been in it before? So his jaw doesn't leave. I did a compilation of Mr. Wobbles. I'm hoping you'll still watch. 2J, thank you for becoming a member again. How are you? I was about to end the stream, but thank you so much. I have to do Mr. Wobbles. I haven't done him in a while. Some good stuff though. Thank you so much for the for the quest. Concert Matrix. Hello, how are you? I was about to end the stream. Always come in the end. I do have to do a Tomasakri one, Rohit. I'll do it soon. Oh, he didn't, Vexen? I see. Oh, he was? Oh, okay. No wonder his name sounded familiar. But Mr. Wobbles is nice. Oh, thank you. Yes, Rage Against the Machine. We're gonna see System of a Down next month, and I can't wait. Can't wait. Do the first concert in like what feels like forever. You're gonna have to go. I don't care. You too, Concert Matrix. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, maybe next time. Yeah, there's emotes on YouTube too. I think it's like a kind of newish thing, but yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and for all the requests and everything. Thank you so much, tutors, for the $10 and Rice for the $10. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the members. You guys are awesome. Thank you for everybody that was watching. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you. I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time.